Yeah.
Will you please stand for the pledge of the flag? This is the February 13th Buffalo Board of Education meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Her coach? Oh, I see her now. Okay. Now, do we have enough space for her to right over here? Can she do it right here? Right there? And remember, she used a chair before as a prop. Can you get her a chair? Can we see? Can we see? That's a good. Yeah.
All right. Will everyone please come in and get seated? You can find a seat as quickly as possible. All right, Superintendent, board recognition.
Okay. Darren, put that little bit catty corner, like a little bit catty corner. Like that? Down a little bit. Down toward that corner right there. There's no room. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Colleagues, under board recognition this evening, we have a very, very special treat for all of you. And I need your undivided attention. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about August Wilson in just a few sentences. A great, great American playwright. Born in 1945, passed away in 2005. American playwright whose work included a series of 10 plays in the Pittsburgh cycle. He received Pulitzer Prizes for 2 of his well-known plays from that series, Fences and The Piano Lesson. Each of Wilson's works in the series is set in a different decade and depicts comic and tragic aspects of the African American experience in the 20th century. Buffalo Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts senior Katara Willis won first place in this past weekend's August Wilson Regional Monologue Competition at Buffalo State. In doing so, she earned an all-expense-paid trip to New York City this May to participate in the national competition on the August Wilson stage on Broadway. Katara is dynamic and out of sight. Trust me. Dr. Teresa Harris-Teague, Dr. Barbara Nevergold, many of our staff, our principals, and students were on hand to witness her performance. In addition to graduating with a theater arts diploma this coming June, Katara is a working artist who has performed locally with the Subversive Theater Collective and WNED Studios. And we have invited Katara here tonight to perform Wilson's King Hedley, Act 2, Scene 2. We want to thank Katara for being here. Come on up. We're so proud of you. And we want to congratulate you, your teacher and coach, Kelly Buth, and, of course, the principal, Jody Covington. Now, colleagues, please, this is very difficult, so silence, turn cell phones off, no distractions, absolutely focused. And Katara, you get into your mode as you wish. Take your time.
Pronounce Pernell made me kill him. Pernell called me Champ. I told him my name was King. He said, yeah, Champ. So I go on. I don't say nothing. I told myself, he don't know. He don't know my daddy killed the man for calling him out of his name. He don't know he messing with King Headley II. I got the atomic bomb as far as he's concerned, and I got to use it. They say God looks after fools and drunks. I used to think that was true, but seeing how he was both, I don't know anymore. He called me Champ, and I didn't say nothing. I put him on probation Saturday. I don't know why it's always on a Saturday. Saturday, I went up there to go get me some potatoes. Say I want some potatoes. Told Nessie, say, you go get the milk and butter, I'll go get the potatoes. I go up there on Hester's O'Malley. I get halfway down there, and I see Pernell. First thing I tell myself is, I ain't gonna be nobody's champ today. I fix that hard in my brain, and I try to walk by, but I didn't want to ignore him, so I say, how you doing, Pernell? No sooner than the words got out of my mouth, I feel something hot in my face. A hot flashing and something warm and wet. This man done cut me. He hit me with that razor, and I froze. I didn't know what happened. It was like somebody turned on the light, and I didn't see what happened. And I could see him smiling. Then he ran. I don't know which way he ran. I was still blinded by the light. It took the doctors 4 hours and 112 stitches to sew me up. But I say that's all right, because the king is still here. But I figured that scar got to mean something. See, I can't take it off. It's a part of me now. And as long as Pernell was walking around, it wasn't nothing but a scar. I had to give it some meaning. I told myself, it's either me or him. Even though I knew that was a lie. I saw his funeral. I heard the preacher. I saw the undertaker. I saw the grave diggers. I saw the flowers. And then I see his woman. That's the hardest part. It was hard, but I told myself, she the one that's got to suffer. She the one that's got to play the widow. She the one that's got to cry the tears. About 2 weeks later, I see Pernell going to Earth's bar. He went straight back to the phone booth. I don't know who he was calling, but that'd be the last phone call he made. I saw my scar on the window of that phone booth. I tapped on the glass, and he turned around and froze right there. The first bullet hit him in his mouth. Now I don't know where the other 14 went. My only regret is I didn't get away. I didn't get away with murder that time, but see, I done got smarter. The next one's gonna be self-defense. The next one ain't gonna cost me nothing.
This is an honor. You're going to see a great actor on Hollywood one day soon, and on Broadway before that. Take a picture with Katara, please. She was outstanding.
I know. Here, let our students.
Everybody, this way, Miss Booth.
Get right here. Get right there,
Miss Booth, you can get in the shot, sure. Part of this. This way, everybody. Let's take a view. Excellent. All right.
I got one. I'm gonna work with Richmond speaking. When is that? Do you know? I was hoping. When is the Richmond like in
Richmond speaking, May 17th.
And this one in New York is May 4th. May 4th. Yes. Wonderful, Mom. Wonderful.
Is the mother here? Is the mother here?
Is that the mom?
Is that the mother?
Are you the mom?
Oh, okay. I'm getting ready to say.
What great teacher.
Katara, you made coming down here in this weather worth it. Okay. All right, I know we're all excited, but we're going to move this meeting. And so, at this time, the board welcomes speakers who have signed up to speak at tonight's meeting. Please be reminded that all speakers' remarks must be limited to 3 minutes or less. We ask that speakers be mindful that this is a business meeting open to the public and televised locally. Attendees and viewers include persons from throughout Western New York, including children. The board asks that speakers conduct themselves professionally and that their comments remain civil and courteous, bearing in mind that you will be heard by people of all ages. This is an opportunity for Buffalo's residents to address the Buffalo Board of Education about issues that serve the public interest and district mission, and the board asks that speakers demonstrate appropriate decorum. Okay, we'll start with Mr. Roy Adams. Mr. Adams here? No? All right, I know Dr. Mistrada is here. I think I saw her. Dr. Mistrada? Sharon, I have the speakers for me for this.
You want me to move?
Yeah.
I need this. Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't get to say this every time, but I'm happy to be here tonight because we're celebrating. The parents are celebrating. You know, a couple years ago, we came out with our new parent, family, and community engagement policy. I wasn't involved in the drafting from the beginning. I came in later, and I have to say, it was inspired. I mean, just the work that was done that created that policy to provide a place for a voice for every parent in our district. It really is a model. It should be a model for our schools, for our country, because it really does allow a place for collaboration. And we know collaboration isn't easy. It's really hard to listen to people you might not agree with. Unfortunately, we kind of brought up to believe that power is limited. And so we're really trying to push past that to say we can make a bigger pie, we can build a bigger table. We have enough places for everyone. And every parent has a voice. And so how the Parent Congress has worked for the last couple of years is with our 3 initial groups, CPAC, DPCC, and BPTO. And we've really been working to include more parents. And now we have the great opportunity to include 2 more parent groups tonight. I do personally know the community health workers. I was trained as a community health worker a few years ago. And the work that they do in this organization to help everyone understand how to work with everyone else in the community is very powerful. And I know Jessica's going to talk more about the whole child model, but I think just the way that they train the people to work within the community, to meet everyone where they're at and support each other, is something that can only add to the work that the Parent Congress does. I don't know MVP as well, but what I do know is that their voice is also crucial to the work that we're doing. And I'm looking forward to welcoming them into our group and continuing to collaborate with them and continue to welcome more groups. I know we're trying to reach out to the multilinguals because we need their voices too, and whatever voices that we're missing, we really want to make sure that we are working together to make sure that every parent's voice is a part of our district. Thank you.
Ms. Hassan, here. Oh, there you are.
Hello, greetings. It's crazy outside.
You made it.
I did, and I'm glad that I did. Greetings to everyone. I am Deatra Hassan, a parent and community health worker. Over the last 20 years, I have worked in mental health, in the arts, education, and youth and community projects throughout the city of Buffalo. My children are also currently students in Buffalo Public Schools. Today, I would like to share what I learned from my experience with the current systems and the people who perform within these systems to educate our children. I often hear terms used by school administrators and human service professionals alike: trauma-informed, cultural competence, and whole child education. These terms have deep meaning that is too often lost in translation. What do these terms or the ideas behind them look like in real life? In real life, there is disconnect, judgment, prejudice, bias, burnout, and ultimately failure for our students and thus our communities. The same social and environmental teratogens exist in the perpetuated system within systems that make trauma-informed care, cultural competence, and whole child education unlikely and even impossible within them. Stepping out of the box, I see slow change taking place within these systems. What I see as the primary challenge to change is building capacity to make real change happen. Our schools need more human support. Our students need restorative practice. They need justice. They need equity. Our students need to be able to look to leaders inside their schools as well as their community and see themselves in a positive light. The Community Health Worker Network here in the city of Buffalo is a strong resource for our schools to include faculty, staff, and students. The education I have received as a community health worker has empowered me to be a better informed worker, parent, and citizen in my community. It has afforded me access to diverse resources through human beings who do the work. In order to make change happen, we need to be the change we want to see. The Community Health Worker Network of Buffalo serves that outcome. Thank you all.
Thank you. Ms. Barr Walker. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Ms. Ventresca. Yeah.
Good evening. Good to see everybody.
You just can't stay away.
I can't. I'm here today to support a partnership between the Buffalo Public School District and parent community health workers. Parent and student voices are vital to the development of comprehensive policies that reflect the school communities. I work closely with parents and students in my position as Director of Health-Related Services for the Buffalo Public Schools. The Community Health Network trained parents and students to become community health workers, and that's a research-based model to improve physical, social, emotional, mental health and wellness in high-needs populations. Along with parents and students, I participated in a 4-day training and ongoing leadership development and support. These parents and students partnered with the district in the development of the district wellness policy, the condom availability program, and other policies. These community health worker parents and students advocated for and gave us ideas and support for implementing these policies. The community health worker helped us to advocate for $2 million additional support for nursing services. When I went to speak to the Western New York delegation, I had a community health worker parent and a student. And I think that impacted on getting additional funds because they saw the partnership and the collaboration between the district, parents, and students. The community health workers also assisted in getting the USDA Farm to School grant, and they have gotten national recognition for their partnership with parents and student involvement at both the American Public Health Association and the American School Health Association. Community health workers are essential partners with the Buffalo Public Schools departments and committees. They were on the nutrition committee, they worked with the health services committee, they were on the physical education committee and health education. They advocated for comprehensive health education, comprehensive sexuality education, meeting New York State regulations for physical education, and also promoted the recess policy. Community health workers can be the connectors for the new bargain, the new education bargain, addressing the neediest students. They can inform the district on school community needs and provide potential solutions to challenges. I strongly support a meaningful partnership between BPS and community health workers. And in conclusion, I want to congratulate the district and the superintendent and all his staff on the ongoing improvement in graduation rates. And I'm certain that the administration of the Youth Risk Behavior Survey to gather data and to implement the district wellness policy improved student health and wellness. And we knew the data reflects healthier students are better learners. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did put information in a packet for comprehensive health education and sexuality education. I'll give it to Emma. Thank you.
Ms. Barlow, is that Alon?
Good evening, Dr. Cash, Dr. Nevergold, board members, and members of the public. My name is Jessica Bauer-Walker. I'm a parent and parent community health worker in Buffalo Public Schools, and I'm very excited that we are looking at a formal partnership with our parent community health workers being recognized as a Board of Education parent group. It was a pleasure to be here at the committee meeting last week and speak with many of you about the work that you've been doing, and I'm pleased to be with my colleagues here tonight who are showing how hardcore they are, that they're willing to go out in any sort of weather. We go out into communities, we go into people's homes, we go into schools. That's the kind of folks that we are, making sure that we're meeting the needs of parents, and we're advocating. So those of you that have been around for quite a while have seen us advocating. We used to do rallies in front of City Hall in this very kind of weather, working to get more physical education teachers out there serving salad to board members and to the public to get salad bars in the schools. And so what I really want to do is my colleagues that are with me here tonight have said, remember how much we need to care for one another, because that's the work that we really do as community health workers. It was so beautiful to start the night off with a piece of art. I think sometimes we forget that we need to educate ourselves in so many different ways, starting with our heart and souls. And it's not just about providing programs and services. Certainly we know that we have a lot of needs in our community, but our children are phenomenal and brilliant, and so are our parents and our community members. And so the work that we really do is to bring out the assets. It's not just about needs. People don't want to be told that they're broken and need to be fixed. Sometimes people don't need intensive mental health services. They need a school community garden. They need to run around and play and have recess. Recess is a mental health intervention. Our children need to be able to talk about their bodies, and we need to be able to talk more effectively about sexual abuse and sexual education and healthy relationships. This is part of a healthy school district and a healthy school community. So we are all over the place. We're acting as connectors. You can see the slate of people we have here tonight: a woman with a PhD and academic background in multilingual education, a nurse and a public health practitioner that used to be the director of health-related services, and somebody who's an artist and a social worker. I mean, this is the kind of diverse network we have. We have parents who are special education parents. We have parents who are immigrants and refugees, and we have the same framework of caring for our community. And we want to work with you. We want to align policies and practices and programs across sectors. We want to break down the silos that we have. We want to make sure that we're aligning public health and public education. So we're really looking forward to working with you. We need to do some work here. I think we need to look real hard, and I understand the work of the district is academics, but healthy kids are better learners, as Sue Ventresca said. And so there's some nuts and bolts that we don't have in place right now that might not be visible on the surface that we really need to deal with, so we can work on upstream approaches, not just only reacting to things, but really, again, operating from this place of love and care and concern for all of our families. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. A number of the speakers have mentioned the MVP, Most Valued Parents, that the second parent group is going to be recognized tonight. And there is a member of that group, and we're going to give 3 minutes to Fernando Meadows. I'm going to speak briefly about MVP.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I am Carlonda Meadows, avid member of MVP. I want to first send my apologies from our founder and director, Brother Neil Dobbins. He's actually doing parenting business. He's traveling in the Finger Lakes right now to his son has a basketball game who is a star athlete. So he wanted to send his apologies for not being able to be here. But, of course, as we know, duty calls. And also, I just want to thank the board in advance for accepting our application. Speaking on behalf of all of MVP, I know we have some of our members who are here as well. They came in this weather to be here. MVP, stand up. are very excited, and we look forward to working with you, the board, you know, the school system, and the teachers, and the parents, and just doing what we do as MVP, and that's just bringing, empowering, educating, and bringing peace and love to all the parents in our community, working on one accord. And being that I know that this is televised, I just want to invite everyone to our next public engagement meeting, as you as well, of course. Is going to be Thursday, January 28th at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, February. Thursday, February 28th. It's going to be at New Hope Baptist Church, which is 2090 Genesee Street, and that's at Genesee Street at Kearns. And that's going to be our next meeting. And if this is, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. And we tend to meet every bi-weekly, so every other Thursday. You can also get more information at our website, which is joinmvp.org. You can also sign up there as well, and we're definitely looking for parents. Even though we have over 1,000 parents in our network, we are always recruiting and getting more people to join into the movement. And you can also text 474747. You can text 47, that's 3 times, MVP with your name, and it'll give you all the updates of our meetings, what we're doing, and keep you informed. So I'm just excited. We're all excited, and we just thank you all for giving us the opportunity, and we look forward to working with you and making things better for our community and our students and education in general. Thank you. Do you anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Nope. All right.
Thank you. No, he's not here. Yes.
Colleagues, I couldn't add much to those words of wisdom from each of our speakers tonight. I would simply echo the excitement that's with us all, and welcome you with open ears and heart to join our parent Congress soon. I meet with that group on a regular basis, so certainly looking forward to you joining our discussions where we look at what's going strong, and then what's can be improved, and how we can work together to make that happen. I do want to just draw your attention to some words that I hear tonight that we don't often hear that word because it's seen as cliche, and that's the word love. I heard love come from Jessica. I heard love come from the speaker from the MVP. And what I know from research, and a columnist that I respect for the New York Times, David Brooks, wrote about it recently, that students learn from people who love them. And they learn most, and they learn a lot more from people who love them than from people who dismiss them and don't think very well or highly of them. And it's not always obvious, but the student can feel it. So relationship quality is at the heart of our education bargain. Relationship between board and superintendent, board and each other, board and parents, parents and parents, parents and teachers, teachers and students, students and students, staff and staff, and so forth. The quality of the relationships at the end of the day will determine how far and how fast we grow and improve as a school district. I think we have the ingredients now, colleagues, to go to best in class, and I'm really excited about these new partnerships. So thank you all for speaking tonight, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Given that we have 2 resolutions, one of which involves the recognition of the MVP and the child health worker parent group as new parent groups, as well as a resolution regarding charter school renewal, I would ask that for a motion to move those up at this moment. Moved by Mrs. Dalton Cotman, seconded by Mr. Petrucci. All in favor?
Aye.
The first resolution, as I said, speaks to the MVP and the CHW parent groups becoming part of the Parent Congress for our new policy. Any discussion? Anyone want to comment?
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm so happy to see that we have 2 new participants for our Congress, and I am excited because each one of them have different focuses, And then I'm looking forward to see the great work that each are going to do, one focused on health and related issues and services, and one focused on making the parent the best that the parent can be. We are at a great time in the city of Buffalo when we have people that are rising to the occasion to make a better equation for our students. And I just want to thank them for all the work that they're going to do and the work that they've already done. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Petrucci?
Welcome, 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 welcome.
Mr. Petrucci?
I skipped them.
That's okay. Going in order. No, I was just going to say, so much of our success is predicated upon parent involvement. So the more parental involvement we can get against the width and breadth of different perspectives and different groups will just make the district better. Thank you very much.
I just want to make sure that the resolution has them starting immediately, not waiting any other time.
Yes, it does.
Okay, that's.
You read it?
When I'm on board now.
Did you read it? All right, I'd just like to say, I think that the commitment certainly is there. When we had our committee meeting last week, representatives of both groups were here speaking more extensively about your organizations and what value you will all bring to parent engagement and involvement, and certainly the commitment of being here tonight. Tonight really is shown. I guess the Buffalonians were all tough, so here we are. I don't know that. Yes.
May I make just one comment?
Yes.
Mrs. Woods' point, just for the public record, they are joining pursuant to the policy immediately, but with the caveat they won't join the Congress until after they go through an orientation and onboarding to the Office of Parent and Family Engagement, which I think is being scheduled for the month of
March. Yes.
So once they go through that, then they will be part of the Parent Congress at that point. And that's contained in the resolution.
So what time in March? Because I'm very interested in getting these parent groups up and running as quickly as possible.
So we're working right now in collaboration with the existing parent groups because we want to make sure that they're part of the orientation as well as the onboarding process. We are looking for mutual dates in the month of March, and we'll be communicating those dates to our new family members. Right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My understanding is that they're immediately recognized. What are you saying they're not able to participate in the Parent Congress until they go through orientation? That's a little confusing to me.
So what we want to make sure that we do is that any parent group that's coming on board, we want to make sure that they have an understanding of our district,
Right.
understanding of our focus, understanding of what our district priorities are, so that they can join in the work with us. Once they do that, we're going to do that in collaboration with the other recognized parent groups so that they have an understanding of the goals that the Parent Congress has established so that they can then join in contributing to those goals and also have a voice in establishing goals that they see fit for their own organizations.
And I appreciate that, Dr. Rosser. Here's what my concern is that if we don't earmark this to be done early within the first half of the month of March, we only have 2 really months left for parents to get involved and participate. And some of the things that I would like to see I would like to see some momentum from these organizations moving into the summer. So I'm really encouraging you to try to get this done as quickly as possible because we've got only really good 3 months left in our school year. And I really feel that they can do some things with the health piece in regards to the gardens and things that are out there. And this summer with the violence in regards to our children. So I just really want to make sure that we understand that time is of the essence because we need all the help we can get.
I agree with you. I think that we want to make sure that we move with this with expedition. We want to make sure that these parent groups can easily get on board and be able to join in all the hard work that we're all engaged in on behalf of our children and our families.
And thank you to you and Dr. Reynolds for the work that you've done to expedite this. We appreciate it.
Ms. McCosey.
Well, I was going to say that too. Thank you for everybody who's involved in this. Now, my concern right now is I would expect that the parent groups already recognize and folks seeing the momentum will be bringing in recruiting more parent groups. So my question is there always going to be, a certain amount of time before an onboarding process? Are we going to have these more scheduled, maybe like once a month, once every other week? Because once we start bringing in the parent groups, which I think is going to happen, do we have to wait to make sure that everybody goes through the same process and bring them in over and over again? Or are we gonna have, just moving forward, are we gonna have like specific times during the year that we make sure we do the onboarding? Everybody's recognized they're doing the work, but they have to, during this date, they have to do this instead of having to wait. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it, just in the sense of what we're talking about.
Right. So to Ms. Cottman's point, we want to make sure that when a parent group steps up and want to join, our Buffalo Public School family in the work, that we will work with that parent group to make sure that we onboard them as quickly as possible and get them a part of our family, officially a part of our family.
Well, my point is if we do that every time and they're not in the work the second they get recognized, then you're losing time. So can they be working, because they're officially recognized, can they be working and then do, any new groups that are coming on instead of having to wait?
So right now, when we talk about the Community Health Worker Network and we also talk about MVP, they're doing many things that haven't
already been okay.
Right. So
I just want to be clear.
Right. So they're currently doing things, and we will most certainly support them. In doing those things. I know that we have already supported many of the groups, or the MVP, in helping to assist with some of their meetings, their future meetings, and things of that
nature.
So
this is just logistics.
Right. This is making sure that when we bring
on
new groups, that we are orienting them to what we do as a district, so that they have an understanding in a very detailed manner what the education bargain speaks to, what our district priorities are, that they have an understanding of the year of instruction squared, so that they have a full understanding to be able to support the work and also represent the district as our board members do and other staff members do.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rosser. Do we need a roll call vote? I don't think that's necessary. Can we have a voice vote then? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you. The second resolution is to do with the the second resolution has to do with the recommendation from the board of charter school renewal. Enterprise and Westminster are both up for renewal, and the board has had a number of meetings, a number of discussions with charter school representatives as well as among ourselves, and have made a recommendation that will be sent to the state, and this resolution speaks to that recommendation. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately. Yes. Well, I guess I can. That's right, I see it. Okay. So I'm going to skip a lot of the whereases, especially if it's up on. Okay, so it's resolved that the Buffalo City School District Board of Education recommends a renewal for both Enterprise Charter School and Westminster Community Charter School for a period of 3 years, expiring June 30th, 2022. Be it further resolved that the Buffalo City School District Board of Education requires both Enterprise Charter School and Westminster Community Charter School to have periodic visits from appropriate district staff and increased collaboration with the Buffalo City School District in the areas listed in the Charter School Performance Framework, specifically educational success, organizational soundness, faithfulness to charter and law. By June 30th, 2022, the Buffalo City School District Board of Education, as the chartering entity for both Enterprise Charter School and Westminster Community Charter School, will assess their progress and make a determination concerning future renewal of both charters. Yes. Mr. Quinn?
I want to first check a few assumptions, if I'm right. That both of these schools are charters that were licensed by the Buffalo School
They were,
District,
yes.
right? And they're both organized by the BTF?
No.
Well, I know Westminster is.
Westminster is, but Enterprise is not.
Enterprise is not the BTF, so but Westminster is.
Westminster has.
Well, they're BTF. They don't have any teachers that aren't in the BTF. It's a BTF school. So I just wanted to just ask something. First of all, do they have the possibility of going into receivership?
Not
because they're low performing in one of the. Yeah,
From the statistics we received, they are both schools in good standing as a result of ESSA. The ESSA.
Any school that has a
So, yeah, well, 'cause my concern is that if they're low performing and we want them to perform better, what are the means to get there? The receivership model allows you a lot of latitude that we've used in the district. And I'm just wondering if we're going to and which we should, by the way, require certain standards. What are the tools we're giving them to get there? And I'm wondering if they can avail themselves of the so that's one
That's up
way.
to the state.
Yeah.
But I hear you, Larry. My conversations with the school, they hire who they want to hire. They let people go.
Yes,
when
yes.
they don't perform according to
I don't
their,
know what
it
the
doesn't
problem
work the
is.
same way as much more latitude than what we have to do.
Yeah, I wonder. But I raised this question not with Enterprise, but with Westminster. You know, I like to be consistent. I'm an advocate of charters, but I'm also an advocate of closing charters when they don't perform. I'll vote for this because it's the will of the board. I don't want to keep giving passes because we'll talk about this later. Ultimately, it's children that are getting hurt. They're not getting the education they absolutely have to have. We've been doing this with Westminster. And again, I'm going to go with the will of the board, but I just question.
Well, believe me, we had some very extensive conversations and dialogues and debates and so forth regarding this.
Well, I don't view Westminster anyway as a typical charter. It's not like an independent charter.
Yeah.
I raised this with some of the people there, and I was told to shut up. But I just think that we should be careful here.
Right. Ms. Belton-Cottman.
Well, I think, Mr. Quinn, your concerns and sentiments are echoed on this board. We are very concerned. We are put in a situation where we make a recommendation, and knowing in advance that depending on which one we made, we were gonna immediately it was going to be a no. So we had to go to another alternative in regards to this. We wanted to be respectful of the fact that parents and choice exists. Okay. However, we want to be clear moving forward that there are resources that are available to Buffalo Public Schools that need to be taken advantage of. And if particularly these two schools to be utilizing, and that they need to utilize them, okay? Because we do have staff that has excellence, and contrary to popular belief, we are doing a very good job in urban education. We are an example, and we are being noted throughout the state and throughout the country that Buffalo Public Schools are doing something very good up in here. But it's very difficult, this urban educational formula. And so it's not a quick fix. So if you see momentum, then just as we have momentum now, we want to keep that momentum moving forward. And we didn't feel that we could do it with anything other than providing at least 3 years, considering that 5 years was not enough. Okay?
I'm okay with the whole thing. I'm just raising the issue because this isn't the first year they've underperformed. It's been going on for 3 years.
Absolutely. It's been going on for longer than that.
Right.
Okay, much longer than that. But parents don't know that because that's not the message that the medium has been provided.
I know.
Okay, so it's a good point.
Any concerns, questions, comments? Okay. We have a voice, a roll call, not a roll call, just a voice vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Okay. Yeas
Can
have
we
it.
have the charter school teachers stand up? Would you guys like to be recognized? Would you like to stand up, Charter? All right. Beautiful turnout.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
All right.
You can be a heavy.
Coming back to the agenda. Coming back to the agenda, board members. May I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes of January 16th? Moved by. You have 2 items? Okay. Moved by Mr. Petrucci, second. By Ms. J. All in favor? Aye. Aye, thank you.
All right.
Colleagues, I have two items that will be of interest to you. First item has to do, and Nate, if you could pass this out. Elmwood Village Charter School has received a bullet aid allocation of $30,000 that we have wondered why we received it, and then we were supposed to give it to them. And we've been working since December to try to find out the answer from the states. Long story short, it's an awkward process. They said they can't give it directly to a charter school, it has to come to the district. District has to then pass it. Anyway, needless to say, we want to clear our books from it, get it to the students, and so our general counsel has suggested the best way to do this is to frame a resolution. He has done that. It's pretty straightforward, and I would request your vote so that we can get this $30,000 over to the Elmwood Village Charter School. Apparently, a New York State legislator sent bullet aid this way for this particular school, and it's a little awkward, but I think this is the way we need to do it. So that's what I wanted you to be fully apprised, and this will help Jeff get this out.
Any questions? Mr. Richardson?
I'm just a little, what exactly is bullet aid? I'm a little unfamiliar with it.
Jeff, could you help with that
Yes,
a little
when a
bit?
member of the legislature, the Assembly and Senate will kind of hold dollars back that they allow individual members to allocate towards an entity or a school or something like that. So this was one that a $30,000 member item essentially was allocated to the school by the Senate.
So it's a member item. Okay, thank you.
Does a member have a name?
I believe it was Senator Jacobs.
Senator Jacobs?
I believe.
I think that's all. Yeah.
Chris.
Any other question? Yeah, Ms. Nicosi?
I just want to publicly state that I would love to know if there's any other schools, whether charter schools that he allocated this type of money to, and what is the reasoning this particular school, and whether or not we're supposed to know that, I don't know. But just as my curiosity is, why this particular school, and what other ones did he give money to, and did he give any, like, if we're looking at equity, whether public or charter, we're still involved. So I just want to know what the reasoning is, and if we're not privy to that, then I think that's not cool. Just saying.
I'm sorry. I'm responding not to what you said, but something.
I think it's a little. I think it's funny too, but I'm just saying.
I think we should keep it.
Anything else? Otherwise, I'll ask for a vote. Anyone else?
Well,
have a
I just
comment?
have a question, because if you're using us as a pass-through, okay, I have a concern about us being used as a pass-through in regards to things like this, because the question I have is what has it done for us lately? Okay, now, okay, so I think he could have passed it through to other people other than Buffalo Public Schools. So moving forward, I'm just curious to know, and I'm voting no on it, but it doesn't mean that, because I think we should keep the money ourselves. Equity is equity. He should have given us half or something. What you want?
Well, I don't know who he is.
I don't either.
But whoever it is.
Senator Jacobs.
Well, Chris has been in the state Senate for a couple of years.
Chris Jacobs.
The amount of money additional money we received from the state during that period has been very substantial. In addition, since I've been on the board, our state aid has gone up about 30 or 40 million a year. I think it is. Over a 2-year period.
Is that true, Jeff?
Probably not 30 or 40, but it's been substantial over the last 10 years.
It's a little high there.
Well, over the last 4 years that I've been on here, it's 100 million easily. But the point is, this is a lot of money. We've gotten a lot of money. They don't have to give us bullet aid because we get it through direct. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote on this?
Then I won't vote again. I'll participate.
Since you brought up, we'll have a roll call vote on this, just to be clear.
Roll call vote on the resolution regarding the payment of $30,000 to Elmwood Village Charter School.
Can I ask a quick question before we go? Is it worthy to revise this to say State Senator Christopher Jacobs versus State Senate?
Well, I think the Senate ultimately has to vote and approve on it. He didn't unilaterally make the decision, so while he may have thrown in stuff at the end of the Senate ultimately is the body that approves.
I went to the school.
Senator Jacobs has sit on this board. He's a great advocate for Buffalo Public Schools. Are we charging an administrative fee for acting as a pass-through or not?
No. We've had around a number of things to vote through this case.
And before we vote, Ms. Sammy wants to make a comment.
I went to Elmville Charter School, and I think they're the best school, best charter school out there. They helped us a lot, especially with students. They taught me so much. I learned so much in that school, especially like reading or writing, because I didn't know how to speak English and I didn't know how to read and write. And I think and they push students to go to, when they graduate, to go to Buffalo Public School High School. And I think they deserve the money.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's go.
With that, how do you vote, Mrs. Delgado?
Yes.
Dr. Harris-Kay?
They really deserve it.
Ms. J?
Yes.
Mr. Posey?
Yes.
Mr. Petrucci?
Yes.
Ms. Pierce?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Ms. Woods?
Yes.
President
Yes.
resolution passed.
Okay, thank you.
Colleagues, item number 2, as you know, many of you have been asking for various data, important data that measures the progress of the school district for some time. And I made a commitment back in, I don't know, December, November, that somewhere January I would make an effort to get this data prepared, scrubbed, and ready to send to you in various e-files, as well as bring you a hard copy to your home. We've had some weather issues. I've been in Albany on some company business and so forth, and we've missed a few sessions for plumbing and what have you. So Darren had done his job and had this ready at the end of January. I've now reviewed most of these data. I'm looking at one more piece. And so this Friday, I plan to send this to you so that over the break when students are out, you'll have a full week to look at this, send back questions or further information that you may wish us to provide, so forth and so on. Staff have done a good job. That is very thorough, very detailed information that we have provided. And some of it's been presented in sessions, and some of you missed those, so I'm going to, send it again. And those were very good sessions with detailed presentations, as well as what are our improvement strategies going forward. So you'll get all of that. But between now and Friday, colleagues, what I'm asking you is if anything missing from here or anything that's not on there, please let Darren know, and we will work with staff to add that. But you're going to get these files this Friday, and that is the plan. So I just want to let you know at this meeting. And then in the first week or first work session in March, whenever we come back, we can start to have a session devoted to any or all of these things in their various respective committees.
Could I ask one question? There's a layer below this that I'm interested in, and I'll give you an example. We, on a lot of the schools which are now in good standing, we're not, or were receiver schools, we did have improvement. We had improvement in ELA and math. Some of them we didn't, but a lot of them we did. When all said and done, even when you look at some of these schools that are in good standing, the proficiency on the test is still below 20% in a lot of them. So that means 80% are not proficient. But and I'm not trying to throw cold water on the parade here. I'm just really trying to get down to two concerns. One is on a data level, can we break out grades? We've had the early literacy and smaller classroom effort now are we in the 3rd year?
Yes.
I think some of the kids that went through that, who would have been in 1st grade or 2nd grade, did take the test. Probably only one cohort. Right?
No, not yet.
None of them
have?
No.
The first kids that had the full
Not the full, but the first kid, I know that when we started this, there were second and third graders, but there are some kids that had it. My only point is I want to see how much that affected the improvement.
Yeah.
So like when you look at
I've commissioned a
given
study
school,
to have that done.
you know,
Yeah.
you might get the percent increase, but it's only some cases 15, 20 students. It would be really interesting to find out whether those are the younger grades or whether it's spread out evenly. That's what if it's the younger grades, it'll tell us what we're doing is working. But so I want to kind of get to a level
Yeah, we got that.
where we look at that. On graduation rates, I'd like you to break them down by type of diploma. So Regent diploma, CDOS, and CTE, because again, that makes a difference. And I'd also be interested to see how much the lower pass-fail rate has affected us too. So for instance, if we had so many increase in Regent's diploma, and this number of those scores were between 70 and 65, it's great they got the diploma. It doesn't necessarily mean that we had increased academic achievement. So I just want to get kind of below the surface on a lot of these numbers to understand them better.
Yeah, I've had staff work on as much as they can that we can provide, and so
this
you'll
kind of
get.
thing you can provide, I'm assuming, right?
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, like when we say the graduate, like CDOS is a relatively new thing for students who don't suffer from a disability. They started doing it 2 years ago. 65 passing is what, 2 years?
For Regents exams?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's been around forever.
I thought it was 70 before that.
You're talking about average. We're talking about Regents. You need Regents exams to graduate.
Okay, but
You're talking about average.
I like even the CDOS stuff. I'd really be interested to know, like if we had X number of people graduate last year. Because I know that CDOS diplomas were not eligible for kids unless they suffer from a disability. That's right in the state website. It says that.
So now, do you have a comment?
In terms of the CDOS diplomas, we've been able to break out not just for the all-student group, but we were able to pull out the count of diplomas granted for the past 4 years. So that will be part of the data set that you will receive.
Okay, you're gonna break them out?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Other questions? I just want to say, I think, Larry, you should get that data and we should look at it, but I want to be very careful about cause and effect. And, because we can't sometimes say in this exactly whether or not reducing the class size had an effect at this point.
No,
it's
I
a much
understand.
longer period of time.
Overall, my concern is this, and I don't like the position the state put us in, quite frankly. Last meeting, we said there's going to be a press conference tomorrow. To me, those kind of things ought to be presented to us. If we have to do it in the executive session, we ought to talk about it, understand it. But here's my overall concern. If we declare victory too early, and then we start to lose resources for these kids, like to take the receiver model, we've had a lot of reading instructors, right? A lot of extra staff in some of these schools. And if that's the reason we did well, and now all of a sudden we're saying we're great, and then we take it away, these kids are going to suffer.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I want to, again, this isn't me criticizing anybody. I'm just saying I'd like a lot more information before I declare victory.
Yeah, we all have that.
Well, we
concerns, and that's kind of
we
what
have declared victory.
what I'm saying.
We declared that we're moving in the right direction and that we've turned the perception and the narrative around. It's like these parent groups. It's very important about what you think about what these children can do. That's the next chapter of this whole work, is getting more and more teachers to actually believe that our students can meet these standards and do very well. We have lots of, Qatar is a great example, but there are lots and lots of Qataris in our school system. This young lady is a great example. And the perception for years and years and years, Larry, has been that other narrative, which you look for a score, you look for a certain crack or breach in the whole thing, and then you can go back to the comfort zone of it's a failing school district. So we're not trying to.
That's no comfort if it's a failing district. I know so many people,
It's so easily
teachers,
done. It's so easily done.
Teachers union people, and what they've said to me is, I told you this.
Right.
They've said to me, "Oh, those kids." Well, I know what that means.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
And I'm the opposite. I think every one of these kids, given the right situation, can do as well as anybody else.
Anybody.
And I think this whole idea
You,
that
me, anybody
they're inferior and all these kids.
Correct.
I think that a lot of our kids have great needs, and I want to make sure they're met, and I don't want us to, because it's often done, and you and I have talked about it. I've talked to so many kids who said, oh, well, they just ran me through the school, and I got A's, and I got out and I couldn't perform. And so our kids are capable of the highest standard.
That's right.
We have to have the highest standard,
Agreed.
and we have to give them the best teacher. I don't think we always are doing.
Okay.
And so that's why this is not me trying to promote a failure narrative. I think that's destructive. But I don't want to be Pollyannish either.
Well, you got to know progress, though. No progress.
I want to know
It's, no, I said note it. Note it.
I want to note it too. First I know it, then I'll note it.
Miss Sammy, did you have a
You've been in 5
Well,
years.
I think if you guys want the Regents diploma to increase the average, I think, see, at Da Vinci High School, our principal, like, we have to have, like, the Regents diploma. We have to get it. He pushes us, like, so hard, and a lot of us were trying to get it. So I think the principals take a big role on that.
It's the expectations.
Yes.
You're talking about the Regent diploma.
Yes. Yes.
Mouthful.
He wants all of us to take it, and he wants us to retake our exams. If we got 65, we have to get 85 on them or higher.
And I think he's right, because if you come out of high school without a Regent diploma, or even passing at 65, your future's bleak.
We agree.
Yeah.
But there are people doing that. That's my point. One of the things that's more than this data is the attitude, the mindset that we're trying to change about Buffalo Public Schools. Then you can, all the things you said so succinctly, then you can really, really, really climb. And, I hear you, but it's a little bit of a both and is all I'm saying.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
You gotta.
You don't want to be getting down all the
You don't
time.
want to see your grandchild as, you know what, she's never gonna perform. She was born like that. No, but you got to see these children as your children.
I do.
No,
and what I want to be sure of is, because ultimately, it was one time, Bennett High School, for instance, was the best high school in New York State. And it was hard to get into it. Well, maybe now. I can get it. But
I know you are.
There it is, right there. That's it.
And here it is, right
There it
here.
is.
I know you.
Because she's getting a big head.
Yeah,
No,
that's
but
right.
I'm saying that, and that's the turnaround that Buffalo will experience when Buffalo Public Schools become the desired avenue. You've turned the complete city around.
Correct.
But you have to do it with facts and real stuff.
But we are.
No, but it takes time, Larry.
Yeah, but and we are becoming
we're
the
starting to
desired
do that.
avenue.
Yes, we're
we
starting.
are, because if you look at the charter schools that are coming aboard, they can't fill their seats. Okay, they don't have, they have too many seats, I should say.
Well, some
Okay, so people are making a choice. No, the majority of them, all the new ones that are here, there's short people registering there. The people are recognizing that we are doing some great things in Buffalo Public Schools, and they're moving them in, and that's why SUNY trustees and them need to understand that, you know, you're approving these charter schools, but they're the ones that you have currently open are not at capacity. So, you know, we're about to approach 20% of this budget, directing it at charter schools, and they're not playing fair in the sandbox. You know, you can boast that you graduate 91%, have a 91% graduation rate, but you only graduated 31 kids. Well, where's the 100% for 31 kids? Let's take 100% for 31. So what we're trying to do is see, there is a narrative out there that they are moving over to Buffalo Public Schools because they do recognize that we are the leaders in as far as educating these children. And if you take a look at who we're educating, okay, we're educating all children. Okay, and one of these schools today did not even have enough children. The charter school did not even have enough children who were L's in this population, in this district.
I mean, ones here
tonight.
Because they're not performing.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe parents, for the most part, always, they may not understand it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but if they understand, they're always trying to enroll their kid in the best school
I
possible.
agree.
Okay, so if they look at these two skills, they're not doing well, of course they're going to have low attendance. And that's why I raised the issue. Maybe it's not smart to extend it, but
That's a good point.
I mean, that's.
Well, it's happening. I got a call from a teacher yesterday in high school who told me they got 3 new students in their classroom, not from charters, out of town. And these parents have been watching Buffalo Public School District for a while. Saturday Academy is a game changer. What we're doing in our classrooms now are game
What
changers.
academy?
And parents are paying attention. Saturday Academy. Saturday Academy. That's
Oh,
happening there.
yeah. Well,
Kids are getting the extra help, but it does take time. I mean, all the research will tell you that. We're to just turn that corner. But we're there.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm one of the people that proposed community schools. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I hear you.
we just got to dig down into the data and understand what we have.
All right, board members. Board members, can we move on? Move on.
Always will. You always will in public education. You
All
always
right,
will.
let's move
This
on.
work is never
because
over.
Everybody's
Did we
looking
do?
out the window here.
So these are all going to be emailed to
Well,
us, and then
yeah.
wanna
Let
be
me know
screwed in.
if there's anything else, and then we'll add that, and then you'll start to get this for sure on Friday.
You getting hard copy for us, or you?
And e-files.
Okay,
Both.
thank you.
Both.
Dr. Harrison.
And we're also getting our individual things from BOCES too. We're getting that this week too?
What is that?
Our individual work from
Policy?
BOCES on the policy.
I haven't
No,
heard
that
of
was
that.
February 25th.
25th.
That'll be Monday, February 25th.
Okay. Schedule looking at this.
Okay.
Is there a committee date for going over this, or is it your committee? When
You
is
all
the
look
date?
at it and then make a decision, you know? You can say when you want to look at it, once you see it. All right.
All right, is that it?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on. If we could keep our committee reports short. We're going to start with our student. Except for you. You have all the time.
So on February 2nd, I attend. Even though I was sick, I still went to this event because I was a part of Hill International. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's part of the mayor summer youth program, and it helps refugees, resettlement families and students. We raised $75,000 to open like a building so students can go in there and they don't have to pay anything. They can get they can use the laptops, they can get books and anything. It's basically like a library, and they have staff that help. I went to that, and then on Friday, February 8th, I went to School 92. I spoke with the student council members, and they were so motivated about being our future leaders, and I taught them some skills. I talked to them about high schools and what they should expect, and they were so worried about like making friends in high school, and I told them you just have to worry about finding the right people and the people who will lead you to success, and I'm looking forward to going back to them again.
That's great. That was just great.
Iraq.
Iraq, okay, thank you.
But we couldn't live in Iraq, so we lived in Kurdistan.
You lived where?
Kurdistan.
Oh, you did, okay.
Golly, that's a game changer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Ms. Belton-Cotton.
Okay, briefly, we met, we had a very good meeting, and we're going to continue to meet. Is that Ms. No. Okay, all things considered. I just want to say that normally I do the same things. I meet once a month with Empire State Development and Alpha State at Burgard. However, we extended it this month to include MST after that meeting, because MST is in the Northland Corridor in the front of it, and MC is in the back of it. So we want to wanted to start having a conversation with the power players at the table about what we can do to get MST up and running. And there were some very great ideas. We're going to be sharing them with the superintendent and staff and trying to move that forward. It was interesting to note that Alfred State is only allowed to come into Erie County with programs that ECC does not have. So that's the challenge. So in trying to work out what we can, how we can use Alfred State, we're looking at different programs. I'd also like to go on record to say that Alfred State is on record to say that they do not require the TABE test until after you have taken their curriculum. So what's happening over in the Northland Corridor is that there is an overlay on top of that, and in order for you to get in the Northland Corridor, you have to pass that TABE test, which is not a requirement of Alfred State traditionally. And I think that needs to be looked at, because that's a disparity issue. If they're not requiring every student to take it, then why are they requiring only the ones that are attending the Northland Quarter. That's a concern for me, and I'm going to open that up a little bit more. But I'm being told that the manufacturers have asked for this. Okay, so that's a concern. But anyway, I have today, and I've shared it. Eleanor is going to be kind enough to put it on our website. Starting Wednesday, attend the information session is February the 27th, which is Wednesday, at 6 p.m. at Burgard, the exploratory program in machine tool operations and welding. And the reason that this is so important is we have so many people who are interested in going into the Northland Quarter. Some have even registered and have found out that this is not what they want to do. They're in the wrong area. So this is a free program. It's sponsored by Empire State Development, as well as Alfred State and the Buffalo Public Schools. And I need to say this because we don't often give ourselves the kudos that we deserve. Our adult ed program is educating more adults than any other facilities in Western New York. And this is another one of their efforts to try to incorporate the community so that they can take advantage of the advanced manufacturing. So people, please get your unemployed, underemployed, people who are interested in changing their careers out on Wednesday, February the 27th at 6 p.m. and ask some questions. If you can't come, you can also call 716-888-7088, extension 111. That's our adult ed division. But we are doing a great job, Dr. Cash, in our adult ed, and in addition to the other things we're doing. And so we need to toot our own horn a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harris-Tate.
In January, I met with the Bill stakeholders at Bill Community School and Dean Rosenblatt from UB regarding a potential literacy initiative with the Buffalo Bills. I have met the new English teacher at Bill Community School. He's fantastic. I did site visits at Enterprise and Westminster Charter School on February 4th. On the 9th of February, I attended the installation of the MDK collage at the Albright Knox Art Gallery, which was phenomenal. And on February 9th, later that afternoon, I attended the August Wilson Monologue Regional Competition at the Rockwell Hall at SUNY Buffalo State. Congratulations to all participants because they all were great. It was very competitive. Kudos to our coaches. Too many to name here, but just congratulations because they're doing very good work. Today I had a site visit. I attended and participated in a site visit at Build with Dr. Kim Wilkins and staff from New York State Education Department. In summary, Build is on target, and there has been market improvement from last year that was noted. There were many highlights that Dr. Wilkins pointed out, but one in particular is the writing workshop work facilitated by Dr. David Orlowski from UB and 9 volunteer Build teachers. I have invited Dr. Orlowski to share at some point with the board the writing workshop work he's doing there and some of the students' written work that is phenomenal. And it is catching like wildfire. So that date will be forthcoming. We got to work it out April, May, sometime in there. Again, kudos to Principal Tanika Shedrick, Associate Superintendent Cassandra Wright, and the New York State Independent Monitor, Dr. Yvonne Minor-Reagan, for outstanding leadership. Build is moving. Just keep watching. Lastly, today I met with TFA Executive Director Katie Campos. We are looking to have a TFA board presentation in April or May as the TFA contract ends June 2019. Many of the TFA cohorts are working in our Saturday academies and are making headway bridging academic skills from day school and Saturday academies. It is starting to gel. Students are bringing these skills over, so that's great. Lastly, I had 2 parents who had some significant issues this week, and I just want to thank Mrs. Sanders from Home Instruction, who sat on the phone with me for 5 minutes and explained how that whole process worked. She was wonderful. And Dr. Rosser and Cassandra Wright for working well on behalf of our parents. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Petrucci.
Thank you. A couple items. I did attend the Southside Community School for their Saturday Academy. It was great. Had a great time. Went to the My Brother's Keeper event over at the Albright Knox last Saturday. Myself and Dr. Taylor. Went to the BPTO on Saturday morning as well. Sorry, Sam, I got called out on Tuesday. Yesterday I was unable to go to DPCC, but I'll make the next one. I also went to the Common Council Educational Committee. They were talking about signs and safe passage to our schools and back from, speeding, and a bunch of other things. And that's it.
Okay, I attended Saturday BPTO meeting. I also attended the Thursday Most Valuable Parents meeting. I've been visiting my schools, spending some time at Early Childhood Center with my parents. I also spoke with School 37, which was unduly said that they didn't make it in good standing when they had significant improvement in their math and reading scores. So we're going to have to look at that. I attended the Black History program at East. The Black History Spelling Bee was phenomenal. They've been working on that since January. That was a wonderful event. And I also spoke at the Baptist Ministers Association to keep them and bring them up to date on the progress that our schools are making and the good things going on. I also thank Tanya Williams and Dr. Archer for their assistance on a bullying issue that my parents call me and they bail me out and they're addressing the problems. I want to say thank you for that.
Nkosi?
So I've been kind of working with and recruiting parents who are dealing with or have students who are dealing with issues with special needs, and trying to figure out ways for people to express the resources that they have, whether they're happy, whether they're not. I did announce that I'm taking on the role as kind of being the liaison for that, and I've held a house party with a couple of parents already and looking to do more of those. There is a lot of positivity around what we do have to offer. It's just, I'm going to start bringing in the staff on some of the confusion as to the avenues of how to get there. But just as I experienced myself, there's an awful lot of resources that we do have. It's just a matter of making sure everybody understands where they are. I think that's one of the most important things that we should be working on. I also want to bring up, and Ms. Kottman, if you can help me out with this, Mr. Andrew Franz, who was advising the group that put the Spud launchers up a couple of years ago. He is now a teacher at iPrep, and he has won again this competition, and they're now going to be, and I'm doing this on purpose because I couldn't possibly remember this, they're sending up, they will be sending Bacillus subtilis, bacteria spores, and they're calling them sporios. But the bottom line is they need the same assistance and the same help, if not a little bit more, in order to get them to the conference, for their competition. Again, Ms. Kottman has a better idea of what they're looking for. And Darren, I think that we sent this email. Ms. Kottman had added you to this email if you want to take a look at that. And
well, we're proud of that.
Right. As long we just want to make sure this is International Prep. So the same guy who did this at MST, right?
Yes, so this is the second experiment that is going through the National Space Flight Program out of Buffalo, New York, within a 5-year period. That's phenomenal. 3-year period, okay? That's phenomenal. And, Mr. Franz has done a beautiful job with that. The issue that I encountered in trying to find funding is that the district helped with, paying for certain things, but we could not pay for the extracurricular things. So, to send them to, while they're down at Cape Canaveral or whatever, to send them over to Disney, that's the money that needs to be raised. So I see that there's a GoFundMe account out there, but I also would like to invite them down. I think that they deserve to come down and be highlighted at the board like we did this Spud launchers before. And this
that's exactly what I wanted to ask with this.
This is in relation to Western New York STEM.
Yeah, no question.
And Western New York STEM is doing some phenomenal things in our schools, and I really, Dr. Cash, if you can just make sure that a liaison is at every one of those meetings, because there are so many partners at those tables with all sorts of resources. And I talked to Emerson Shuda, Emerson 2, and I told her about it, and she went to one of their meetings, and she ended up coming back with resources for her school. So there are a lot of people, there are a lot of networking going on, and a lot of financial assistance. They want to make sure Buffalo Public Schools are a success. and they are doing some great stuff. So we need to invite them down to the next board meeting so they can tell us what they did. I'm excited about that. Go. And kudos to Mr. Franz, too. Yeah, but we're going to have to help them. I'll go online and donate, but they're going to have some money. I think I don't know, we had about, what do we have there? About $2,000 or $3,000?
Well, he spells it out in this, everything that he's looking
They're
for,
trying to
what he
raise
thinks
more.
that they can't.
I sure did. I had about 5. Yeah, but we made sure they had a good time. So that's what it's about, without using public dollars. So,
Anything else, Ms. McCoy?
I do have, and I'm going to get back with folks, but I definitely want to make it public that School 19 and the Native American program has some questions around who was hired for the social worker position, and how we went about that. I did say I would mention that I'm going to look into it, so now there's public, I'm going to do that. And Waterfront, I talked with Board Member Woods about some issues that are happening in Waterfront, and I feel as a parent, I'm dealing with some of those issues because they're brought to me, just because I'm a parent who's on the board. But following protocol, I'm bringing Board Member Woods into it, and we'll be contacting folks just around some things that keep coming up. And again, I'm making it public because I was asked to deal with this, and I need people to know I'm on it. So thank you.
Jane?
Aaron.
I hear you, but I'm going to do what I was asked to do. So that's how that goes.
So since our last board meeting, which I believe was January 16th, correct? Okay, just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing double duty here. On the 18th, I attended the Keeping the Dream Alive celebration at City Honors School honoring Dr. King. And on the 21st, I attended the MLK Scholarship Breakfast at the Convention Center with Dr. Nevergold and Lou. And yes, you guys didn't have
forget
it.
about that.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to make sure it wasn't so. And that was lovely. That was a wonderful tribute. And it was. I forgot the student's name, but he was fantastic. Do you remember his name? He sang, he gave a great speech. He was very, very talented.
But I don't remember his last name.
Yeah. On the 25th, we held the anti-bullying task force meeting here in 801, and all of our partners attended. It was a great meeting. We're now breaking down into subcommittees, and we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the work. And we'll be getting together, the big group will be getting together again in a couple of months to follow up with the subcommittees.
I didn't hear the committee. The judiciary work with the bullying?
Sorry, the anti-bullying task force. Yeah, we actually held the big meeting here in 801.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
Is the judge is she still in it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Myself, Judge Friedman, and Dr. Rosser.
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And on February 4th, I attended the Western New York Music Education Advocacy Night, which was sponsored by the BPO. It was very, very interesting with some great speakers. And yesterday, I attended the 100-day celebration at North Park Community School, which was a very nice event. The children were learning how to count to 100, and they came dressed in costume. Yeah, it was preschool and kindergarten classes.
Tell Larry with the 8th graders.
No, the preschool and kindergartners. So.
They were 8th graders. Thank you.
To count to 100 when you're in
Mr. Quinn.
I only want to bring up one point. We're on the verge of a new school board election. And the election, as I understand it, is administered by the school board. I'm not sure I'm going to run. I'm giving some thought.
By the school board? No.
I think so.
By the Board of Elections. By the Board of Elections.
Okay, but it falls under this education law, correct? Correct. And education law is a little different than general election law. When I ran, I was told that you could not receive any third-party contributions in kind or in money that was not on your disclosure form. And last election, there was a lot of mailers that were sent out by the AFL-CIO. There were lots of, working family partners, paid people doing petitions and all that. And I'd only ask that we should abide by the law, and I'd ask that General Counsel might give us the do's and don'ts for the next meeting so that and publish it, because people are running now, and all these things need to be disclosed. If you put a video on Facebook, you need to take the cost of that and disclose it. And I think it just be helpful to everybody to know the rules before we start.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying if you do something like that, I'm saying
Oh.
anything you do, if somebody helps you, if an organization goes and does petitions for you, you have to disclose who it was, how much it cost. You have to do that if somebody does a poll. I mean, I know I did. We had a poll done.
And that's already in there. I mean, you have.
Yeah, but it's almost never followed. And I know it wasn't followed last election. And I think we ought to make it crystal clear what people have to do.
Can I say something on that point? And I want to be clear because I keep hearing this conversation or this propaganda that's going out via the news that there are people who the BTF controls. No one controls a board member. I have never seen a situation where at this
Please talk
board, and
about
I've been
this
here.
louder. Talk about it louder.
I've
Let
been at this
everybody
table
know.
long enough to know that the players in this game are shrewd enough to make sure they don't get caught colluding or doing anything. So I'm not sure where this propaganda keeps going out that this board is controlled by certain. That's not true, and it's certainly not true with anybody I've seen sit at this board. So I don't know if there's something that I don't know. But I've worked with Lou over the years. I've worked with you. I've worked with these people, and I don't see it. I think it's an attempt to try to taint the work that's being done, to try to paint a picture that's just not accurate and it's not fair. And because you have the ink and you have a big publication and you can do whatever you want to say, at the end of the day, the people put us here because they believe that we're going to do what's right for our constituents. Okay, and I am sick and tired of that. And I started to write something about it, and I'm like, why should I take the time to stop doing what I'm doing, working with children, to write something? They're going to continue to spread those lies. It's a lie once, twice, and 3 times, and you can say it till you're blue in the face. You can't make it the truth.
Okay, can
Okay.
we move
Clear,
on?
that's not the point I'm making.
I'm not your point, but I made that point because you are referencing that people
Too many
support.
editorials.
And there's been like
No, I'm
3 or
just
4
saying that there's a
editorials
law
saying
that
that. I'm not
requires
having
you to
it.
disclose
And I
all your
want my people to
expenses.
know that.
And in the
They know it,
past,
though.
people have not done it, and I'm assuming they weren't aware of it. And I think if we make it really clear, this is what you have to do in your disclosures, then, if they don't do it, then they're in for. But I think most people don't do it because they don't know the law.
And there's date certain by which you have to do your filings also. I
What?
think that there's date certain by which you have to file there's certain drop dead
Well,
time.
unlike a general election, for instance.
Okay, can we move on? I mean, really, we're
All right, well,
past.
I'm just
past
asking
that.
Nate if you could
I understand.
give us the
So,
law.
yeah, so, and we
There's
have
a lot
that
of newbies
at a committee
running, so
meeting.
it might be relevant. A lot
All
of new
right, thank you.
people
The
are
floor
running.
goes to Ms. Pierce.
Well, I didn't have a committee, I don't have a committee report because we didn't have a committee meeting. Teresa and I gave up our time. But at the next committee report meeting, I'm looking forward to receiving the attendance data, Dr. Rosser, and the suspension data
You're actually going to receive that this Friday.
this Friday. So that's going to be the gist of our next meeting. I would also ask if it is available, could I please have the updated version of the attendance policy?
Yes, that's
I
on the
know we
board.
haven't visited that in quite some time, and I just want to see where we are.
Yeah, that can easily be
With
provided. So
that.
it's on our board, it's on our website, so I can just pull it from our website and make sure that it's in the mailbox of all board members.
Thank you. That's it
Excuse
for
me,
me.
where would it be on the website? Because I'm
It's
having
under
a hard time
policy.
navigating.
It's under the policies.
It's under policy.
Yeah, I believe it's 3170. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, okay, so
We're
it's under
gonna
policy.
quote you on that.
Can I just ask a question of Dr. Rosser while I have him? So, Dr. Rosser, what is our cell phone policy with the students in high school?
So that's currently being reviewed and will be presented to the board what the recommendations are based upon the feedback that I received last year from the board members, additional feedback that we received from community stakeholders as well as school stakeholders within our code of conduct. So we're looking to bring that recommendation of the new code of conduct to the board in March or actually April, in April. Our current policy speaks to cell phones being permitted in the schools with the authorization of the building principal for instructional purposes.
Because I was in a school last week that the sign was very, very big. They said absolutely no cell phones allowed. And at class change time, every student was walking down the hall on cell phone. So I was just kind of curious, is the sign obsolete or do we just change it? I'm just curious. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I would just want to
It's a,
because it was brought up.
I got to tell you,
to my
colleagues,
attention. I
we've
didn't
had to
answer.
modify through the years. We used to have zero tolerance cell phones, and we need to keep them. I don't know here, but in other districts. But with these awful, tragic incidents that have occurred in recent years, it's very difficult to tell a family and a child that you cannot have or use a cell phone. And what we try to do is just say, look, you keep them, sort of like we try to do with the board meeting. Keep them tucked away. Don't bring them out while we're in instruction, And so that's kind of where we are. It's not a hard and fast policy. That's in part why Eric's trying to bring it so we can get the language that's fair and makes sense for today's time.
Well, I didn't have an answer for the parent. I kind of felt foolish as well. I think the sign's probably.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I attended a number of things that some of you have already reported on, but I do want to say I came a little late for the Albright Knox installation and program, but I'm very impressed with what the students did, and as they explained, actually, one of the teachers stayed behind and explained to me what the wall hanging installation was about. My only disappointment with it is that it's in the education wing of the art gallery where nobody sees it unless there's students who are there, taking classes. So I would hope that we could have more prominent placement in the art gallery so that others could see the work that our students have done, because it's a very intricate message that's sent by that particular installation, and I think it deserves more of a placement that's more visible than where it is. The other thing is having attended the August Wilson monologue program as well. Very impressed by all of the students. There actually were 3 students who won first, second, and alternate places, and the 2 top-ranking students, one we saw tonight, will be going to New York to compete nationally. So, we have a wealth of talent, and also really thank the teachers who coached and participated as well. Finally, a year ago, really, this meeting was held upstairs on the 13th floor, as I recall. And at the opening of the meeting, I unfortunately announced the shooting that had taken place at Parkland School in Florida. Now we are a year anniversary. I hate to say anniversary because that makes it seem celebratory, which it is not, but observance of that tragedy. And I have a letter. I think I did ask for copies to be shared with each of you. A letter from the Superintendent Robert Johnson from Broward County in Florida, noting the observation of the observance of the tragic event that happened on February 14th at 10:17 a.m. and asking that schools across the country would join in a moment of silence, recognizing what happened and the lives that were lost that day. So I will hope that our schools will observe that particular request.
We will.
And right, it's tomorrow, 14th at 10:17 a.m. And wherever you all are at that time, we'll stop for a moment and remember those lives lost.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
Since it is from the collage, the MBK collage is there temporarily. It is not there to stay. It will be coming to City Hall, I believe, next week. So it's not there to stay. And we said the same things about that corridor. But they said a lot of students that come there, that is where they go and they have time to talk and whatever. But we weren't happy with it either. But it's temporary.
Okay.
It's going to be.
Well, I was thinking about the adults too.
Give something to the associates, the principal.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the consent agenda, we have 15 minutes. Somebody said we wanted to get it up by 7:30.
Break our record?
No. May I have a motion, please, to accept
The consent agenda, Ms. Harris Teague, Ms. Woods, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Great. Ms. Belton Cotman, I think you have a comment on 18F.
Well, I want to request that Ms. Woods that we take a look at the disbursement of I think it was $50 million that we received. Because one of the things that came across my mind with this is that why didn't we do best and final offer here for this particular item?
You talking about the E-rate, the total piece?
Yeah. You know, I just was curious to know when are we using it and when are we not using it?
We used it last year.
I know, that's why I asked this year. So that's the thing. When do we use it? When do we don't? We have a vendor who is benefiting quite handsomely from this contract, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for best and final offer. Okay, that's a concern.
Jeff and Bill and Nate, if you have any please,
Well, I do, and
please
as
join
you-
the conversation.
I know that you have a procurement policy before you tonight, that's been reworked, and it's been, Jeff and the purchase department as well as our department has worked together and researched best practices as it relates to procurement. And as you'll see in that, we don't have anything in relation to the best and final offer. It's really something that, for our advice in the legal department, we're advising that we move away from. Now, the option really is once you have the lowest bidder, and you've selected them, then you can engage in a negotiation with the lowest responsible bidder to reduce the price. So we didn't use best and final offer, and I don't think we will be using it.
Last year we did, and the low bidder became the second bidder. And is AIS one of the firms getting money again?
Yes.
Yes, yes, all the time.
And they were the lowest bidder by far on the project that they, or on the bids that they offered.
Yeah, I think that we need to bring that best and final offer to finance and ops and look at that again, because in this particular case, I am asking for some sort of a breakdown on how this money is being spent and who's benefiting from it. You know, there are other things, other opportunities we had in regards to this, and you know, if we have one person that's benefiting from it, just doesn't look quite right. So I think that staff needs to expand. Okay, they need to come up with a broader mailing list, recruiting list, or whatever. But it needs to look like that everybody is, you know, allowed to play in this arena, because it's not looking like that if you take a bird's eye view from it. And as far as best and final offer, if it's good enough for the city, if it's good enough for the county, then it ought to be good enough for us, since our budgets are comparable to those. And I think we need to look at that.
Well, I don't think they're doing it.
Oh, well, I was told they're doing it.
Hey, you kill me with
Larry
this.
Stitt told me that it's a common practice.
The last time we went
He
through
shared
this,
that
the
with me.
word was that nobody was doing it. We
No.
were the only ones that were doing it.
No, that's not true. Paulette?
They weren't doing it in the same manner.
That's it.
The problem was that if you take the bids and you tell everyone, you open the bids and everyone gets to see everybody else's bid and their information, then your negotiation have to be with the lowest bidder. You can't go back and.
Correct, and that's the way that we're going to do it moving forward.
But we
Exactly in that
didn't
same
do
way.
it last year. And we were sued.
Right.
It just seems so inconsistent.
Well, and that's
Well,
part of the,
what's the point I'm making?
part of the policy development and the reformatting of the purchasing policy is to establish consistency. And we look far and wide for best practices in developing the policy that's before you, and we feel it's a very sound policy that has not been developed or reformatted for at least, I think, 10 years.
What you're proposing, I agree with 100%. About last year, this happens a lot, but I've never seen it where you get the bids, everybody sees everybody else's price, and then you ask them for another bid, which is what we did last year. And I found that unbelievable. I'm glad you're changing it, but it does seem.
Well, it'd be a conversation for executive session and legal,
Yeah.
and rendering legal advice and why, certain positions are taken at certain. We're always looking to improve. We're always
Right.
looking to be legally compliant. We're always looking for best practices.
Tighten it up. That's what we're doing.
I know it's a change
It was raggedy in
from
the past.
previous way of doing things, but.
Not after this is passed.
Well,
It should be
it
much
seems like we do it whichever way suits the AIS, but.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's what it looks like to me.
Mr. Petrucci, I'm sorry, I skipped over you. and
Thank you,
had
my question was answered.
Okay, move on to 18H.
This is a $292,388 item. It's for an award to Hewitt Packard for data center maintenance, licensing, and professional services. And that the contract is only for 5 months, from February 1st to June 30th, for almost $300,000. And I was wondering, why is it only 5 months? And if maybe you're hearing us about, we need to open this up and get more bids and get a broader base. And so why is it 300,000 and it's only 5 months?
Right, I want to thank you very much, Mrs. Woods, for that question. Unfortunately, this contract, the terms of this contract end this month, so I wanted to bring that contract through the end of this fiscal year. We do have an RFP that's with our purchase department right now, and our goal really is to, like you've been saying, is canvass as many vendors as we can, because I believe these services are such that we can find a lot of talent, and hopefully we get some local responses and some MWBE responses that we can look at with a very critical eye, and hope to get the best folks in here to provide us service in our data centers. So just to reiterate, I want to get this terminus with our fiscal year and begin fresh with the RFP results on July 1st.
Thank you for transparency and broadening your procedures.
You're welcome, and thank you for the question.
Thank you. Mr. Quinn, did you have a question?
No,
about?
I don't have any questions, no.
All right. I don't see anything else.
Legal.
Legal.
Right there.
No, he said he doesn't have a question.
Oh.
I asked him already.
Okay.
That's that. All right. I have a. So thank you. Yeah, I know. The brain is getting frozen here. Maybe we'll roll call vote.
Yes, on the consent agenda, Mrs. Belton Cotman, how do you vote?
No exception.
Dr. Harris-Big?
No exception.
Ms. J?
No exception.
Mr. Posey?
No exception.
Mr. Petrucci? No exception.
I need to go home. I'll get my card.
I vote no, 19, B, C, and D.
Mr. Quinn?
No on 18F and 19C and D.
18F, 19.
C and D, not D.
Mr. Woods?
No on H and F.
Okay, and President vote.
No exception.
Consent agenda passes.
Just for that time.
Thank you. May I have a motion to go into executive session for the following purposes? One, to discuss the appointment of a particular individual and the potential discipline of a specific district employee, and two, for the purpose of receiving legal advice. Moved Dr. Harris-Tig, seconded Ms. Posey, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. We're going to go into executive session.
We have
I
2
did not
minutes.
have, yeah? It's up to you.
Staff, you're good. Thank you. Have a good
Drive
evening.
safely, everybody.
Be safe.
Yeah. You too, dear. Are you driving?
The board went into executive session. Can I have everybody's attention for a minute?
Absolutely.
Oh, the board went into executive session.
I can't yell that. Everyone else is talking, but I got yelled at.
All right, the board went into executive session
Exactly.
to discuss the appointment of a particular individual and the potential discipline of a specific district employee, and for the purpose of receiving legal advice. No action was taken. And now may I have a motion to adjourn?
Right here, right here.
Hallelujah. All right, we're adjourned.
I'm